Palaces are often shining examples of the architecture of their era and place of birth. Opulent structures of majestic proportions, they were constructed to be the abodes fitting of those set apart from the common man. Be they to house blue-blooded royals, high-ranking dignitaries, or bishops of elevated ecclesiastical standing, palaces were often a grand, no expense spared coming together of the most esteemed builders, architects, and craftsmen of their time. Many such historic residences have now been converted to more practical use, finding new life in the form of museums, parliamentary buildings, and centers of administration. In this issue, Top 10 of Asia shares its pick of 10 of the most beautiful palaces to be found around the world. Mysore Palace, also known as Amba Vilas Palace, was the official royal residence of the Wadiyar dynasty and the seat of the Kingdom of Mysore. Yudaraya, the first Raja of the Kingdom of Mysore, had the first palace built inside the old fort in the 14th century. Made of wood, the palace easily caught fire and experienced multiple reconstructions. After undergoing yet another immolation, the old palace made way for the current structure, made of stone, bricks, and wood, in 1912. Constructed at a cost of 4,147,913 rupees, around $30 million adjusted to inflation, Mysore Palace sees more than 6 million visitors annually, making it one of the most famous tourist attractions in India after the Taj Mahal. Chateau de Shamort, one of the most recognizable chateaux in the world, the Chateau de Shamort is renowned for its distinctive French Renaissance architecture, which artfully blends traditional French medieval forms with classical Renaissance structures. The largest chateau in the Loire Valley, it was not built to be a residence as one would reasonably expect, but instead served as a hunting lodge for the King of France, Francis I. The building, which was never completed, attributes its original design to the Tuscan architect Domenico da Cortona, with possible influence from Leonardo da Vinci. In a display of his enormous wealth and power, Francis hosted his old arch-rival, Emperor Charles V, at Chambord. The Alhhamra, a stately palace and fortress complex situated in Granada, Spain. The Alhambra is one of the most famous monuments of Islamic architecture and is one of the best preserved palaces of the historic Islamic world still standing today. The building also contains notable examples of Spanish Renaissance architecture. Construction first began in 1238 under Muhammad I ibn Alhhamra, the first Nasra Emir and founder of the Emirate of Granada. The site was continuously modified by later Nasra rulers, seeing its most significant construction changes in the 14th century during the reigns of Yusuf I and Muhammad V. The palace later fell into disrepair for centuries before becoming the subject of numerous restorations since the 19th century. Today it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of Spain's major tourist attractions. Potala Palace. The Potala Palace is a dzong, a distinctive type of fortified monastery fortress, located in Lhasa, Tibet. Functioning as the winter palace of the Dalai Lamas from 1649 to 1959, it has been a museum since then and was declared a World Heritage Site in 1994. Named after Mount Potala, construction began in 1645 under the 5th Dalai Lama after one of his spiritual advisors pointed out that the site was the ideal seat of government, being advantageously situated between the Drepung and Sera monasteries and the old city of Lhasa. Standing at over 13 stories and containing over 1,000 rooms, the palace interestingly had copper poured into its foundations to help protect it against earthquakes. Topkapi Palace. The Topkapi Palace is a present-day museum that served as the administrative center of the Ottoman Empire and the main residence of its sultans until the 17th century. Construction began in 1459, 6 years after the conquest of Constantinople, under the orders of Sultan Mehmed the Conqueror. It was given the name by which it is now known in the 19th century, Topkapi meaning Cannon Gate. Having expanded over the centuries, with major renovations after an earthquake in 1509 and a fire in 1665, the palace complex now consists of 4 main courtyards and many smaller buildings. After the dissolution of the Ottoman Empire in 1923, the palace was transformed into a museum by government decree. Buckingham Palace. No list of the world's finest palaces would be complete without arguably the most famous of them all in Buckingham Palace. Originally a large townhouse built for the Duke of Buckingham in 1703, it was known as Buckingham House before being acquired by King George III in 1761 as a private residence for Queen Charlotte, where it then became known as the Queen's House. Having since then been expanded to the present structure, It is the administrative headquarters of the monarch of the United Kingdom and is often at the center of state occasions and royal hospitality. It has been a gathering place for the British people in times of national celebration or mourning. Housing 775 rooms, the palace's garden is the largest private garden in all of London. Palace of Versailles is similar to the previous entry. No such list can be said to be complete without the inclusion of the Palace of Versailles. Located just outside of Paris, it is one of the most iconic and grandiose examples of French Baroque architecture. Originally built in the 17th century as a hunting lodge for King Louis XIII, it was transformed into a royal residence by his son, Louis XIV, who spared no expense in its expansion and decoration. Serving as the seat of political power in France for over 100 years, the Palace of Versailles' grandeur and opulence were a symbol of the absolute monarchy that ruled France during this time. The Royal Palace of Madrid, nestled in the heart of Madrid, the Royal Palace of Madrid stands as a majestic symbol of Spain's rich cultural heritage. Boasting an impressive 3,418 rooms, it is one of the largest palaces in Europe. Its interior is a stunning collection of finery, adorned with ornate decorative elements and intricate artworks that include masterpieces by renowned Spanish artists such as Velázquez, Goya, and Caravaggio. Aside from its artistic and cultural significance, the Royal Palace of Madrid has also played a key role in Spanish history, being the site of many significant events, such as the proclamation of King Alfonso XIII in 1902 and the ratification of the Spanish Constitution in 1978. The Royal Palace of Caserta. The Royal Palace of Caserta is an erstwhile royal residence in Caserta, southern Italy, constructed by the House of Bourbon II Sicilies to serve as their main residence as kings of Naples. The largest palace built in Europe during the 18th century, it was declared a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1997, with its nomination describing it as the swan song of the spectacular art of the Baroque, from which it adopted all the features needed to create the illusions of multidirectional space. Covering 47,000 square meters, it is one of the largest palaces in the world. The Winter Palace, constructed on a monumental scale to reflect the might and power of Imperial Russia, the Winter Palace served as the seat of the Tsars as they ruled over nearly a sixth of the Earth's landmass by the end of the 19th century. You could visit a new location within the palace every single day for years, with the palace supposedly containing 1,886 doors, 1,945 windows, 1,500 rooms and 117 staircases. Far removed from its monarchical past, the palace is one of the world's best-known museums in the modern day, attracting some 3.5 million visitors annually. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel for more update.